right, we are live for today. Today is what? January 14th, 2020. So, hey, you guys, thanks for joining me. My name is Jessie. I'm with Decker Truck Line, and I just wanted to welcome you to 2020, and this is our second edition of our Q&A, which we have every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Central. Now that you guys can see me, I'm hoping you can see me. Let me know now that I switched the camera over. Say hi, let me know where you're at. And as always, if you guys have any questions whatsoever about the topic for today, which is a CSA, what is CSA? How does the CSA affect me? How does the CSA affect the company? And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're also going to address the weather because, come on, let's look outside. We know we need to address it when everybody's slipping and sliding all over the place. And it's cold outside. So as always, feel free to ask any questions that you have in the chat. Questions can be anything about, like I said, the CSA, but also about any of the positions that we have available here at Decker Truck Line. So the number here is 888-668-0698. That won't bring you live into the show today, but it will, however, get you directly to one of our recruiters who is there waiting to answer some of your questions. You can also apply online if you aren't already with Decker at an actual web address at www.drivedecker.com. Telephone number is 888-668-0698. But again, the website drivedecker.com, and that way we'll get an application here for you, and we'll be able to see if we can get you qualified, answer any questions that you have, find out what exactly it is that you're looking for, and make sure we're a good fit. So as always, all right, so let me know if you guys can see and hear me. I'm not seeing anything in the chat yet, so I want to make sure. I do see there's a couple people on, but I don't see that I'm getting a response there. Oh, I lied. Risky Red. Well, hello, Mr. Howard Lewis. Good to see ya. Thanks for joining us. All right, so we're talking about the CSA and how it's going to affect us. So I'm going to jump right in. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, ask away. Don't even have to have questions. Hey, you probably have input. If you've got some more information you'd like to provide to the conversation, we would love that. So here we go. Let's first off, what is the CSA? What is that all about? CSA stands for those of you who aren't aware, it's compliance, safety, and accountability, all of which we need in every step of the way, from the recruiting process with the driver themselves, with the recruiter themselves, to the training process, so driver trainer, onto driver and operational manager or fleet manager, and on up through safety and so forth. So compliance, safety, and accountability, that's our CSA score or CSA definition. Basically, what it is holding us accountable as a carrier, as well as the driver, as the individual taking care of the equipment, making sure that before they're even on the road, they're safe. It is there to protect the driver as well as for the company to make sure that they are being accountable for the maintenance and whatnot of the truck. Maintenance, hours of service, there's actually 7 different categories that are judged. So hi Daniel, thanks for joining us. So there are 7 different categories that are judged for those of you who aren't familiar with the basics. So let's hop right on over here to what the basics are, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. Let me see if I can share my screen here with you. There we are. It's kind of off a little bit. Let's see if I can move it. All right, cool. 7 basics. What the heck is the 7 basics? That's the behavior analysis and safety improvement categories. Like I said, those are the 7 different categories that we've got here. These categories are what the CSA uses to score the individual carrier. Now, you're probably used to hearing the phrase the CSA score. What's your CSA score? It's not an actual, I mean, it is a number, but it's not a number that you would expect, I guess. It's more of a percentile. So it's based off of similar or peer group carriers. So companies for Decker Truck Line, companies that are going to be similar in size and dynamics as Decker are going to be compared to Decker and so forth. So the The actual categories are going to be based off of those peer groups, and it's going to be based off of a percentage. So they're going to compare Decker, for this example, to the other carriers, and then wherever Decker lies, it's that percentage is what's going to represent them on this category, whether it be unsafe driving, crash indicator, hours of service, vehicle maintenance, controlled substance, what else we have? Driver fitness, as well as hazmat. We don't do a ton of hazmat, so we're not affected much by the hazmat. We're on a 0 percentile because we just never seem to get hazmat inspected. So and that's obviously, you need to be inspected 3 times in order to come up on the radar for that specific carrier, or excuse me, that specific category. So that is the, make sure I'm not missing any comments here. That is what the basics are for it. So, hey Jackie, hello sir. Good for joining us. Thank you. All right, so let's jump right back over here. Let's see some more of what this basic is here. I mentioned this just briefly as I was going through the different categories, but FMCSA, the organization, has the SMS data into these 7 basic or behavior analysis and safety improvement categories, which are unsafe driving, crash indicator. Well, let's back up. Unsafe driving, that's going to be like speeding, reckless driving, improper lane change, inattention, no seatbelts, failure to obey traffic signal. Those are all things that are categorized under unsafe driving. And then you've got crash indicator. Now the crash indicator is going to be percentiled based off of the histories of the crash, whether you're involved or not, or whether you're at fault or not, but more so just the involvement itself. So that's the crash indicator. Hours of service compliance, that's the 3rd category. Non-compliance with hours of service, that's going to include logbooks, ELD, because now we are all on the ELD system. Remember that. Vehicle maintenance. Vehicle maintenance is the 4th. That's going to be brakes, lights, defects for failure to make required repairs, anything like that. All of those are going to be categorized under the vehicle maintenance. Actually, the top vehicle maintenance write-up is, now that I say that, it might not be the top, but 10% of the write-ups for vehicle maintenance are actually light related. So that's very preventable. So, and that's within the industry. So making sure that your lights are working properly, checking all of that, it's all part of the pre-trip, and you should be aware of it before you even get in the truck. So get going down the road. And then you've got controlled substance, alcohol. Use or possession of the controlled substance or of alcohol, that's all measured and tested through the inspections for that as well. So if you were pulled over and alcohol was found either on you in the truck, or you smelled like it, or they had any opinion that you might have it, then that would all come under the controlled substance. So then you have the hazmat. Doesn't affect Decker a whole lot, but it is out there. It is one of the categories. Leaking containers, improper packaging or placarding, that's all one of the basics. So that all falls under the hazardous. Driver fitness. Driver fitness, now this can give you the impression that it's more like your physical fitness, what your, how physically fit or built you are, but it's more based off of your medical card, making sure that you have a valid license, that you are medically qualified to drive or operate a motor vehicle. But it also is based off of how you're feeling. Are you sick? Are you ill? Are you sleepy, fatigued? If that's the case, then that could have a huge effect on your driver fitness when you come into a facility or into to get an inspection. So all things that you should be well aware of. Now, how does that, like I said before, first of all, that's based off of percentages. So you've got compliance. Let's get you back on the screen here so you can see this. You've got compliance, safety, and accountability. Again, that's what the CSA stands for here. There we go. Top 2 violations. I should probably, I should have had you guys guess this before I even bounced right over here. Let's do that. How can this affect a company? How can the CSA score affect a company? We all know that it can, and that's why the CSA began to begin with. So the CSA score, how is that going to affect a company, and how can they then improve it? Well, again, what the CSA score, what the company has as a CSA score, can affect the company in a lot of different ways. It can depend on how many times you're going to be brought in, or you're going to have your trucks brought in for inspection. You know, you could have fewer DOT audits, and like I said, the roadside inspections, fewer of those. Your reputation with your customers, that can be affected dramatically by what your CSA score is, and what you're maintaining, how you're working to improve it. Your efficiencies with operation and profitability. And a lot of that has to do with the bonus. It's the efficiency of the trucking company overall, and because of how efficient we have become, or where we see that we need to make improvements, we become more and more efficient, and therefore that's why some of our bonuses are directed towards that. So the scorecard bonus, our smart drive bonus, all things that help to improve our efficiencies and our record as a whole for the CSA. So how else will it affect us? It can also affect us in the insurance costs. It's surprising in the last, I mentioned this yesterday on our Facebook Live, if you weren't on there and didn't see the frustrations that we had with the video, but on our Facebook Live yesterday, we were talking about the number of companies that had gone under at the tail end of 2019, and some of them they went under or closed the doors mostly because of insurance. Now, definitely some exceptions, especially some of the big ones, but some of the smaller ones, around 30 truck count, a lot of them had to shut their doors because of the insurance premiums going up. And once they reevaluated what the cost of insurance was, whether or not they had their ELD in, some of the DOT regulations that had been implemented that they had yet to get in place in time, those all were high enough costs and affecting each of these individuals that these individual carriers, that they couldn't continue. Well, with your insurance costs lower, obviously that's gonna make a huge difference, not only with your customers, but also with your drivers, the type of drivers that you can have as a company, because if your CSA scores are respectful, if they're satisfactory, which is one of the 3 levels, you've got satisfactory, compliant, and unsatisfactory. And when you have those, we're in the satisfactory, and being in the satisfactory level, then you're going to be obviously more attractive to other or quality drivers that are out there, as well as your current drivers, because you're holding yourself to a higher standard than some of the other companies out there. They can be reassured that, hey, their equipment is being taken care of. They're not going to be pulled in because they have to worry about not being able to get the shop to approve whatever needs to be taken care of with the truck, whether it be the ELD is having issues, or you need to replace some lights or anything like that. That's something that you don't have to question because it's being taken care of. So you've got, like I said, the 3 different levels. Decker is at satisfactory, and you've got conditional. So conditional means you're out of compliance, and out of compliance for at least 1 or more safety issues. And remember, let's going back to those basics. You're non-compliant with one of these. Let me see if I can get it over here. Get to the right page. There we go. And share it with you. There. So one of these 7 basics, that's if you're on conditional, which is basically the mid-level, not the level you want to be at. Satisfactory is definitely the level you want to be at, but it means that you're out of compliance with 1 or more of these basics, these behavior analysis. So, and then you've got unsatisfactory, which is substantial non-compliance. So you're not compliant with any of those. As a whole, the unsafe driving, the crash indicator, and the hours of service, you guys can still see this, those three all have to be under 65%. So what does that mean? That basically means with being under 65%, that means that 45% of the carriers are doing a better job than, or excuse me, 65% of the carriers are doing a better job than you. You want to get below the 50% mark on everything. The closer you are to zero, the better. And so that's what you want to continually see improvement on that. 0 to 100 is your percentile, where in this case, 100 is not the percentage that you want to be. You want to be lower to that, to the 0 as possible. So again, for unsafe driving, for hours of service, crash indicator, those all have to be 65% or lower in order to keep you compliant in those categories. With the other basics, you have to be 80% or lower with the controlled substance, the hazardous or hazmat, and then the driver fitness, 80% or lower for that. Any questions on that before we move on? Howard, it looks like I missed you here. To all drivers, please take care of yourselves health-wise. I've been grounded for a week because of my A1C was too high. It's important to eat right and to get the good physical fitness regimen. Absolutely, Howard, couldn't be more correct. So that is obviously coming under our physical fitness. And we don't want you driving if you're not going to be meeting the numbers, the DOT numbers. Obviously, because you're going to be written up. But most importantly, because if your numbers aren't at that level, you're probably not reacting as quickly as you should. I mean, just because those numbers are, that document is showing those numbers, obviously it's affecting your body in many different ways. And reaction time is huge, and being drowsy, you're not having the energy. Those are all things that are going to be affected. Being sleep deprived or being fatigued is as bad as being above the alcohol limit. So that's how detrimental a driver's fitness is. So good point, Howard. Thank you. And if you guys have any suggestions on how to improve your A1C and bring that number down so that you're feeling better, you've got more energy, you feel like you're more in control of your body, of your health, then by all means share that information with us. And for a workout regimen, one of the books that I'm reading right now, I was hoping I had it here, but I don't. One of the books that I'm reading right now is Get Serious. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but it does talk quite a bit about the individual's health. It is kind of marketed as more of a workout book, but it is based off of your health, what you need to be eating to have the energy that you need, the type of vitamins that you need to make sure that your body is able to repair itself and that you have your brain functioning at the level that it's supposed to, and just to keep you void of a lot of those diseases that are out there that you're seeing every day because of poor eating habits. So that's one book that I would suggest if anybody's interested in reading. Another one that I think is fantastic is the 10-Day Detox, which is helping to get your blood sugar below, for A1C as well. I was trying to think, it's Dr. Hyman, and Dr. Hyman actually has several different books out there, different recipe books, as well as books to help you better understand your own health so that you can get those numbers where they need to be to keep you safe. So I hope that helps you guys. If you're interested in more books, let me know and I can give you a whole slew of them, but those are some that I would definitely recommend. As well as workouts, if that's something that you guys are looking for, trying to figure out, okay, how can I improve my health through physical fitness, we can send some of those your way as well. And a lot of times it could just be going for a walk, adding some push-ups in after your walk or before your walk, adding some squats. It could be air squats, jump squats. If you've got bad knees, do air squats. And there's quite a bit of things, lunges and stuff like that. Burpees are fantastic, but it's all based off of your physical level, your physical activity level, and what you can handle, and see the little improvements. But eating is 80%, if not more, argued to be 90% of the struggle for most people. So what you eat. So know what you're eating and making sure that it's healthy for you. There's a lot of apps out there, you guys, that you can use as well. All right, I got sidetracked. But good point, Howard. Very good point. So driver fitness, making sure that you guys stay on top of that. Do you guys know what our two most common, and preventable, by the way, most common violations were for 2019, or are, I guess, right now, where our highest indicators are? Remember, those indicators are unsafe driving, crash indicators, hours of service compliance, vehicle maintenance, controlled substance, hazmat, driver fitness. Do you guys know which ones are our top ones here at Decker? Any guesses? They're preventable, I'm telling you that. Howard says, while on the road, don't eat lots of sugar, soda, bread, carbs, those type of carbs, yep. Fried foods, drink lots of water, yes. No energy drinks, absolutely, and walk around the parking lot. Good advice, absolutely. Yeah, avoid some of those. Actually, bananas can really peak your glycemic numbers too, so be careful of bananas, citrus. Strawberries are going to be better for you. Nuts, but remember, nuts are high calorie, so but they're a better food for you as well to keep the energy levels. Water is gonna be the trick, though. Make sure you're getting your vitamins, you guys, getting the vitamins and everything that you need. Okay, so what is it? What is your guess on our top violations? These are preventable, so this is where the struggle is. Our top two violations for right now with these basics. Oh, let's get you over here so you can see it. There you are. Our top two violations: failure to obey a traffic device. And I made this pretty small, didn't I, you guys? But failure to obey the traffic device. Number one. That is our number one. And do you know it's passing a scale? That's what it is. How preventable is that? Good guess, Daniel. Hours of service. Howard, following too close. Yeah, not surprising those are the guesses, but no, failure to obey the traffic signal, which kills me, and then speeding 6 to 10 over with the tickets and warnings. Tickets and warnings, when they're on your PSP report, they weigh the same. The insurance, they're going to look at it the same exact way for a warning as they would for a ticket. And a lot of you aren't aware of that. Let me first explain to you what a PSP report is. PSP stands for Pre-Employment Screening Program. So when you go, say you're coming to Decker, you're interested in coming aboard, you've been with a company that you've gotten several write-ups for inspections, you've had a couple of warnings, you might have even had a warning for using your phone or a handheld device. If that's the case, we're not going to be able to work with you until those are at least 3 years old. Now, and that's what I'm talking about. There is a major moving violation, 15 over, using a cell phone or being distracted, having distracted driving, careless, reckless, following too close, like Howard said. Those are all major moving violations. And we can't work with them if they're within the last 3 years. I'm frozen, huh? So those have to be removed before we can continue. But the PSP, whether you are, I'm distracted, you guys. I'm sorry. I'm distracted by the video frozen here. Whether you are given a warning or if you are giving an actual ticket for it when you are inspected, doesn't matter, because it's going to weigh the exact same under the insurance. They're going to look at it the same way. Yep, frozen. Dumb. Thought I had it conquered today. How wrong. Okay. See if I can fix this. Okay, so that being said, those are our two violations. Speeding 6 to 10 over. You know what's super frustrating about that? Probably for each and every one of you, is that the speeding, our trucks are governed. And they're not governed at these horrendous, there's 68 on the cruise and 65 on the pedal. So you shouldn't be speeding. You shouldn't be speeding. We have our smart drive system that's on the truck that is there to help you improve some of those driving habits, like hard braking, speeding, following too close. Those are all supposed to be lessons learned through that smart drive system to help us improve. Speaking of, with Howard bringing up following too close, you know what, Howard, I'm not 100% sure because I need to look at some of the past documents that we've had in some of our past CSAs, but I am betting that following too close was one of the higher ones back in the day before we had the smart drive system. Since we've got the smart drive system, we have improved dramatically on there, which is why we implemented the smart drive bonus in addition to our scorecard bonus for 2020. So that's new. If you haven't already gotten the information on that, for 2020, you'll get an extra penny per mile if your smart drive score is less than 20. So pretty awesome. And for a while back, we were way up there for numbers as a company, and it's pretty awesome to see the improvement that the smart drive and each and every one of our professional drivers have done in order to get those numbers down. You guys worked your tail off on it, and it's fantastic. It's good to see. So how is that going to affect the driver? So the CSA score affecting the driver and basically, what does that mean for you? I told you what it meant for the company, that it could mean higher insurance costs and maybe fewer inspections. It could mean the same exact thing for you. Fewer inspections, that you have an opportunity to choose the company that you want. If you have a CSA score, which actually you as a driver, you don't get a CSA score. You'll get points on your PSP report, which is, again, your pre-employment screening program. But what you get written up, what shows on the company's CSA, so what they'll get for the CSA report from you as a driver will reflect to the carrier, but then it will also reflect on your record as well. And that's where I said that it could affect you on the hiring process. If you're looking to go somewhere, if you're your own carrier, if you're an independent, and your insurance costs could be significantly affected by that. The number of times that you go and get inspected, delays from inspections, maybe the lack of customers because of it, the lack of pre-plans because you don't have the customers. All of these things can be affected from it. Delays from delivery to pickup, because of those additional inspections. Like I said, all those things can absolutely be affected by it. So, and then the next step is we know how it can affect the company, that it can affect the company with insurance costs, but how are we going to improve those costs? Or not only the costs themselves, but how are you going to improve the CSA score for Decker, in this example, for Decker alone? Well, you can improve it by a couple of different things, and things that we've actually already started to implement. Knowing or evaluating your policies and your procedures, knowing exactly what you expect and what someone else expects. The roles and responsibilities, same thing, defining those roles and responsibilities. So the expectations, the assignments of duties for each of us here in Decker are well defined, and we know what we are responsible for, what we are accountable for. It's all part of the CSA, like I said. CSA stands for Compliance, Safety, and Accountability, and each and every one of us have to be accountable for it in order to improve it. And that's why you'll see as one of our, if you're new to Decker or looking to come to Decker and you're asking about, the position itself, and you're going to see us go through an expectation form that defines this is what you can expect with the company. This is what you can expect for miles. This is what you can expect for equipment. This is the expectation for running area. What do you expect? So that we know what you're expecting as well, so that everything is really well defined, so that we can continue to see movement towards improving not only our CSA score, but our communications and effectiveness, efficiency through all of these procedures. Hey Todd, good to see ya. Missed you yesterday. Yep, missed you yesterday on Facebook there. Howard, California will give you a ticket for 1 over 55. Yeah, be careful. Some of the states, They've got bills to pay. I probably should say that. Okay. So, abiding by qualifications and hiring, like I mentioned, the PSP report, which is affected by CSA scores, can highly affect a driver and whether or not they can be hired on, whether they continue to have coverage with their insurance, with the insurance that you're currently on. Maybe if you're with a company that doesn't allow 15 over tickets within the last 3 years, if their insurance company doesn't, and all of a sudden you get a warning for it, that could definitely mean that you're going to have to be reevaluated. You might not meet their insurance requirements at that point. So those are all things that need to be not only defined, but you need to abide by all of those qualifications, those hiring qualifications, to make sure that you're getting not only the quality driver, but that the quality driver is being able to find the company that they want based off of CSA scores that they're able to view as well. Knowing and having the adequate training and the communication, like I said before, communication is detrimental. We are trying, through Decker here, we are trying to improve our communication even more by making sure that we have additional channels to get that information out to you. You guys are busy. We know that you're busy, and we know that you're limited to time that you can relax, wind down, but you need the updates, the information that's coming across. So we're trying to make it as easily accessible to you as possible without overwhelming. And we're most definitely taking suggestions for this. We've put it up here on YouTube. We put it on Facebook. We've got a blog that we've got, as well as a website. You can address a lot of it on some of the Instagram. A lot of those are more of the fun stuff on Instagram, like birthdays and anniversaries and achievements. And, Jesse was on there yesterday. Jesus Torres for receiving his money for being the top referrer of 2019. But all of those type of things, we're trying to emails. That's another way that we communicate to each and every one of our employees, whether they be driver or in-house, the Qualcomm unit, just to keep you updated on everything. And what is your preferred method? What do you guys prefer so that we can keep them coming? Is it better to do just audio, like podcasts, or is it better to do the videos or the emails? What's your preference? Howard, follow the rules. It's that simple. I'm with you there, especially when it's like speeding and missing the scale. When you're missing the scale, that's so crazy. Failure to obey. You need to get over sooner. That's the solution. Solution to failure to obey a traffic signal, being that it's passing an open scale, just means that we need to get over there sooner. Get over there so you don't bypass that scale. Todd says, you define your role as a carrier and a driver to avoid any gray areas. That's right. Absolutely. And that you're just opening up the communication a little bit more, and you're going to have a better understanding of what you're going into, so that if a situation occurs, you're going to know if you're the one that needs to handle it, or if you need to get help, and who it is that you need to get help if that's the case. And then monitoring and tracking the compliance. So our safety department is doing that on a regular basis. And then, of course, the CSA does that. The FMCSA is taking care of that as well. And you can access that on, let me see if I can get that for you. You can actually access that through FMCSA .gov, and then I think it's resources. Bear with me. I'm just double checking this here for you. Make sure that is not the right one. Wonder if it's driver resources. Driver resources. All right, I give up. We're going over to FMCSA and figure out where that's at. This is what I'm getting. Clearly, we're not going to go over there. All right, so next then. All right. I did mean that. What did I put? SCSA. Well, that's my own fault then, right? Your Monday and Tuesday live videos are very helpful and informative. Don't know any other carrier doing this on the platform. Thanks, Todd. Yeah, if this is the best way to get a hold of you and to keep you updated, that's what we want to keep doing. But if you guys have preferred methods, then we know. This isn't getting me there. What I was going to show you is the FMCSA website, so that you could see some of the resources and the monitoring and tracking of each of them right now. You know what? I know what I did. CSA. Let's see if that works. If not, we'll move on. And meaningful action. So what I meant by meaningful action there, you guys, is, like our bonuses, or our scorecard bonus, or our smart drive incentives, driver of the month, shout outs, having the decals, naming your accomplishments, things like that. Those are all part of having meaningful action, knowing that what you're doing is coming back with positive results. You're seeing it in the influence on it. And some of the suggestions too for helping to improve your CSA score is getting a reliable ELD. We have that, and a lot of that is because if you enter into a dead zone and you lose cellular connection or a cell phone connection, your ELD won't lose the information permanently. So, which will keep your hours of service accurate. Having the best drivers available, having the most quality drivers, that's going to be a huge impact on the company itself, because not only are you going to run equipment or run the loads on time and take care of the customer, but you're going to do it safely. You're going to have the insurance costs down. And that's, again, why we've implemented some of these bonuses based off of the smart drive system, as well as the scorecard, a combination of miles and fuel efficiency, our fuel compliance and things like that. Todd says they've signed up for the CSA newsletter to inform me of my score and any related news. Great suggestion, actually. By signing up for the CSA, and you should know what your points are. And like I said before, your points are not so much CSA. They're as a driver, it's actually your trying to get to the right page here. It's actually your PSP report, which is your pre-employment screening program. You see this? This is the FMCSA. There you go. And this is the actual website that I suggest you guys go to. Let's see if I can make this a little bit smaller so you guys can see it. Nope, wrong one. Goop. All right, so this is the website, safety compliance, safer roads, the SMS, understanding that. Here's my CSA. Hopefully you can see it over there. And if you scroll down here, these are the 7 basics that I was talking about. I'm not sure how well you guys can see this on your screen, but the unsafe driving, crash indicator, hours of service, the vehicle maintenance, controlled substance, hazmat, driver fitness. These are all of them, and you can get additional information on here, and having your information is definitely going to be beneficial. Like Todd said, getting your hands on that, not a bad idea. Other suggestions are having vehicle maintenance taken care of through DVIRs, getting that information updated. So the DVIR inspections from drivers to warehouse to keeping everything updated and the communication rolling on that, so that personnel all know what's going on. ABS braking inspections, that's something that's pretty darn common, and also on the FMCSA on the website here you can get some suggestions on maintaining them. Back in September of 2018, there were 57 jurisdictions in the U.S. That hold the brake safety week. I don't know if you guys remember that. We did a couple lives on there. They were our Q&As for the week. And over 14% of the inspections had critical vehicle inspection items, such as ABS ABS issues. So it is important to stay on top of. And aggressive driving, being calm, controlling your level of stress, And again, a lot of that is having a healthy diet and getting enough sleep and being able to have control over yourself that way. Medical violations, yet another one, all falling under that. And stay up on any of the updating regulations that are out there. We talked a little bit about them last week and how we expect some of those regulations to come into play for 2020. And we're just waiting to get updates on that from here or from then. But if you sign up for the website is on my left if you're wondering why I keep pointing over here. But if you sign up for the website, they'll actually keep you updated and be sending those out to you by email, like Todd was saying too. So not only will you get updates on your score, but you'll also get it on everything else within FMCSA, the DOT regulations that you can be updated on. So does anybody have any questions on that? So far, the CSA, lots of information on the CSA, you guys. What is a positive about our violations that we do have here at Decker? Like I said, it's frustrating, I know, having those violations, but we are in satisfactory. So we are safe. However, you always want to improve. Driven to be the best. That is our tagline. That's our motto. And in order to be the best, we have to strive to take the steps, take action. It's nothing to just want it. You actually have to take the action. And in order to do that, you have to have a plan of action. And that's where defining the roles and the responsibilities and evaluating our policies and procedures and knowing where those are going to be taking us and that they are in line with our goals to improve. And improving these CSA scores, it's really just going to be more about avoiding the inspections, avoiding violations, and getting over to the scales so you don't bypass them. Simple things. We just need to be aware and stay on top of it, on top of our driving throughout the day. Don't get complacent, because I think that's where a lot of it goes into account, is we just get complacent. We do it in, day out, and you're just going through the motions sometimes. We've got to be reminded that we need to be top of mind. You guys have one of the most important jobs out there, bringing us everything you can imagine in the truck, all of our needs or wants or whatever, but you're taking care of all of those for us, and you're hauling 80,000 pounds. It's a lot of weight. It can be, it could do damage, and you need to be careful out there. We ask that you are. All right. So speaking of careful, did you guys see on our Facebook page yesterday? Was it yesterday? Yes, it was actually. Yesterday on our Facebook page, Walk Safe This Winter. So this is coming up for, because of some accidents that we've had here in our parking lot, some of those that are out on the road. You guys, it's slick. The weather is not a friend lately. I mean, it is winter, it is slick, it is not only slick because of the ice, but just a skiff of snow on top of the ice, which makes it that much worse. We just ask that you be safe, that you take the precautions that you need to in order to get out of your truck safely and into the building or wherever it may be that you're going. So use your handrails whenever they're available. Make sure you've got your proper non-slip footwear. Put those little binder things on to keep you from slipping and sliding all over the place. Todd says, it's a balancing act between scores falling off and new violations being added each month. That's truth. That is the truth, Todd. It is a balancing act, which isn't a bad thing. The more inspections you get, the quicker you can improve your score. But also with, let's bunk off of this for just a second. Yeah, the more inspections that you get, the quicker you can improve your score as a carrier, and not necessarily as a driver, because yours are going to stay on there for 3 years. 24 months is what's being evaluated for the carrier, but 3 years and 5 years is what's going to be on there for the drivers, for our professional drivers. So anything within a 3-year period is going to count against you on the insurance if it is, that type of violation on anything unsafe driving and whatnot, health related. But equipment as well is going to hold a bearing not only on you but on the company. And anything that one of the drivers will get is going to affect the company. And that's why the company has the hiring standards that we do, is because it's detrimental to keeping our insurance costs down and to keeping our customers, and making sure that we're able to maintain them and have that level of trust and take care of all of our other professional drivers who have already met that higher quality, and we want to keep that up there. Todd says, I have shoe chains when the ground is icy. I can never remember what those are called, though. They're called something, right? Shoe chains is much better, and I'll probably be more likely to remember that. They're pretty, I was going to say they're pretty slick, but they're not. Play on words. Okay, but walking safe. So bouncing back to walking safe and using the handrails and avoiding slippery surfaces. Keep your balance. Keep yourself under control. Slow down. Might have to shuffle your feet a little bit and know what you're stepping on. So, when you get out of the truck, look down. Know that you're putting your foot on something firm, and that it's not slick, that you are not going directly towards the pile of ice and instead going to a clear spot to walk across a parking lot or wherever it is that you might be going, to keep yourself safe and away from all of that injury that could happen. So take your time. Don't be in a rush. Just like when you're going down, same with the roads. Make sure that you're taking your time going around a curve. You're slowing down. You're not rushing through everything. Rushing through everything and causing accidents or injuries or anything like that. So let's see, what do we got here? So we got talking about too fast for conditions. So that leads me into that. Too fast for conditions. These are things that you can be ticketed to or ticketed for. Again, unsafe driving. It's going to fall under the unsafe driving category. But wet roads, snow, ice, freezing fog or visibility, the reduced visibility. I know Patrick's pet peeve is freezing fog, and I hate fog. See that a lot in the valley. Uneven roads, construction zones. You've got the South Carolina is already getting hit with construction season. Curves, slow down. Intersections, gravel roads, heavy traffic. Those are all could be too fast for conditions based off of where you're at. So tips on reducing your speed on adverse roads. Reduce that sucker. Enter a curve slowly. Don't start slowing down in the middle of it. Could whip you around. Reduce your speed before entering an exit or an entrance. And drive slowly with loaded trailers. Slow down in the work zone. You're going to need to have that reaction time whenever possible. So excellent. What am I missing? It's usually your top step when you get out of your truck that's icy. Yeah, is it? That's the slickest of all of them, huh? And I love that quote, a superior driver never allows a situation to deteriorate to the point that the superior driving skills become a necessity. That's Patrice. Patrice, smart drive, our smart drive man. Yes, indeed. All right. Well, I just wanted to remind everybody, it is slicker than snot out there. Icy roads, skiffs of snow. You've got blowing snow all over. It is cold. Always remember to have your additives. If you are running low on additives and you're headed into the shop, make sure that you get extra. Get your Penray or whatever so that you are there, you're set. You've got your additional fluids in the back of your truck, in the side, I guess it's the side cabinet. Make sure that you have all of your additional fluids so that you're not running into any situation, that you're being safe, that you've got some winter survival tactics in play. Blankets, extra food and water. Don't park with your front end up against a snowbank or something like that. Make sure it's breathing. And all of you should have chains at this point. So I'm not going to ask. I'm assuming you have chains, and if you do not, make sure you get them at one of our terminals. You've got Missoula, Montana, Fort Dodge, Iowa, Bessemer, Alabama. I think Hammond has some too. Yes, indeed. All right. Okay. Well, that looks like that's that. We may have a special YouTube and Facebook for you next week when we're all in Fort Dodge, and a chance to say hi to you guys and touch base. If you have any questions or anything, please feel free to get a hold of one of us. You can get a hold of the recruiting department at 888-668-0698. You can also get a hold of safety if that's who you're trying to reach at extension 8533. If you have questions on any of the safety discussions that we've had as well, and as well as getting a hold of Patrice if need be. Let me know if you guys have any additional questions. Please do not forget to subscribe. If you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe and click on the little bell, because that's going to let you or notify you every time that we go live, so that you'll be part of it. Todd, you have a great day too. You be safe. Be safe there. And of course, Mondays we have our Facebook Live, our Facebook video that is at 4 p.m. Central. I had to think about that for a minute. 4 p.m. Central. You can check us out on all of these other channels. Oop. Pushing buttons like crazy. There we go. All right, so we will see you next week. Howard says, I think I want to become the company pilot now. The company pilot, huh? It's been a while. I don't know if... I'm pretty sure we don't do it right now, do we? Don't have one, I don't think. Anyways. All right, you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. We will be talking to you soon. Justin, I owe you a phone call. I'm headed that way here in a moment. All right, take care, you guys. Thank you. Have a great day.